The weight of exhaustion pulls at my shoulders as I fumble with my keys, barely registering the familiar click of my front door lock. Another day of endless meetings and forced smiles leaves me craving the sanctuary of my empty apartment. I drop my bag by the door, the soft thud echoing in the silence, and reach for my phone on the hallway table where I'd forgotten it this morning. The screen illuminates with a notification that makes me pause. A video message from Aunt Susan. Strangesh never sends videos. My thumb hovers over the play button as I sink into my favorite armchair, the one that still smells faintly of my grandmother's perfume. The familiar scent usually brings comfort, but tonight something feels off. A whisper of unease crawls up my spine as I press play. The video opens to my parents' living room, the one where I spent countless holidays trying to earn their approval. Mom's voice carries through the speaker first, sharp with laughter that sounds nothing like the careful tone she uses with me. "It's almost too easy," she says, and my breath catches at the cruel edge in her words. Dad leans into frame, his face flushed from what must be his third glass of wine. "Our little ATM?" He chuckles, and my stomach lurches. "Just mention family obligation and she'll empty her savings. Did you see how fast she transferred the money for Ethan's emergency last week?" My brother's voice joins in, and the betrayal cuts deeper. "She didn't even ask what it was for." Their laughter fills my apartment, bouncing off the walls until I can barely breathe. My hands shake so badly I almost drop the phone, but I can't look away. Every word they speak hammers another crack into the foundation of what I thought was truth. The screen blurs as tears well up, but I force myself to keep watching. Years of memories flash through my mind. Mom's urgent calls about overdue bills, Dad showing up at my workplace to demand help with the mortgage, Ethan's endless string of crises that only money could solve. Each recollection takes on a darker shade now, revealing the manipulation I was too loyal to see. "She's so desperate to be the good daughter." Mom's voice drips with satisfaction. "Remember when she skipped her vacation to pay for the roof repairs?" I remember the overtime hours, the missed opportunities, the dreams I put on hold, all to prove my worth to people who saw me as nothing more than a walking bank account. My chest tightens until each breath feels like swallowing glass. The video continues, but their voices fade beneath the roaring in my ears. I grip the armrest, anchoring myself as my world tilts on its axis. The soft fabric under my fingers feels wrong somehow, too normal for a moment that's shattering everything I thought I knew. The timestamp in the corner shows the video was recorded just yesterday during what Mom called a small family gathering I was too busy to attend. Too busy working extra hours to build up my savings again after Ethan's latest emergency. A notification pops up, Aunt Susan sending frantic follow-up texts. "Oh God, Lily, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to send that to you. Please delete it." But she did send it, and I can't unsee it. I replay the video, each viewing crystallizing the truth I've spent years denying, the casual cruelty in their laughter, the calculated manipulation in their plans, the complete absence of love in their eyes when they speak my name. My phone buzzes with an incoming call from Mom. Her contact photo smiles up at me, the same practice smile she uses when she needs something. My finger hovers over the answer button, years of conditioning urging me to respond, to smooth things over, to keep the peace at any cost. But for the first time, I see the pattern for what it is. Each call, each crisis, each guilt-laden conversation designed to separate me from my money and my self-worth. The phone keeps buzzing as I stare at the scattered bills on my desk, physical reminders of my family's emergencies. A hard knot forms in my throat as I pick up a pen and begin to write, my hands still trembling, but my vision clearing. I will not be manipulated anymore. The words look strange on paper, foreign yet freeing. I've spent so long being the good daughter, the reliable sister, the endless source of support. But as I sit in my darkening apartment watching my mother's call fade to a missed notification, I realize something that shakes me to my core. I don't know who I am without their demands. Each family member has played their part perfectly in this manipulation. Mom, the maestro of guilt trips, her voice always trembling with manufactured crisis. Dad, the enforcer, showing up at my workplace to shame me into compliance when I dare to hesitate. And Ethan, my baby brother, the one I've protected since childhood, wielding my love for him like a weapon. The video plays one final time, and I watch them with new eyes. Mom's perfectly timed sighs when she needs money. Dad's practiced scowl that appears the moment I question any request. Ethan's wounded looks that make me feel like I'm abandoning him if I say no. They've crafted their roles in this performance with devastating precision. My phone lights up again, Ethan this time. The text preview shows just enough. Sis, I really need your help with. I set the phone face down on my desk. In the sudden silence, a question rises that I can't push away. How can I break free when every piece of who I am has been shaped by their manipulation? The answer waits somewhere in the darkness beyond their influence, and for the first time in my life, I'm ready to find it. Have you ever discovered that the people closest to you aren't who you thought they were? Share your story in the comments below. The video plays again in front of me, but this time I notice something I missed before. A series of notifications flash across the top of the screen, frantic messages from Aunt Susan appearing in real time as she recorded. Karen, are you sure about this? What if she finds out? We should delete this. My hands steady on the phone as the reality crystallizes. This wasn't just a casual moment of cruelty caught on camera. They planned this. Every laugh, every cruel comment, it was all orchestrated. Mom's voice cuts through the speaker again, and the memories flood in like a toxic tide. Last month's barrage of texts about the mortgage payment. Your father and I could lose everything. Is that what you want? The month before that, Ethan's in trouble. He needs help now. And 2 weeks ago, why aren't you answering? Family should come first. Each message arrives with perfect timing, always when I'm at my most vulnerable, late at night after a long day at work, or early morning when my defenses are down. The constant ping of notifications trained me like Pavlov's dog, each sound a reminder of my failure to meet their endless needs. Dad's tactics are more direct. I close my eyes and I'm back at my office 3 months ago, his broad frame casting a shadow over my desk as coworkers pretend not to stare. Your mother's crying because of you, he announced loud enough for everyone to hear. Is this job more important than your family? The memory makes my chest tight. I'd transferred the money right there, fingers trembling on the keyboard just to make him leave, just like I always do. Ethan's voice drifts from the phone now, his familiar laugh twisting into something ugly. Watch this, sis. I really need your help. It's an emergency. Works every time. My brother. My baby brother, who I've protected since he was small enough to hide behind me during thunderstorms. The last time he called with an emergency, I canceled my vacation plans to help him. The time before that, I dipped into my retirement savings. Each crisis manufactured, each desperate plea a performance designed to separate me from my money and my self-worth. A text from Jessica lights up my screen, breaking through the spiral of memories. Hey, you've seemed off lately. Want to grab coffee? Jessica, who noticed something was wrong weeks ago, who gently suggested I talk to her mentor Michael about setting boundaries. I dismissed her concerns then, defending my family's honor like a good daughter should. My fingers hover over the keyboard before I type, "Are you free now?" Her response comes quickly. "Always for you? Usual spot?" I need this someone outside the toxic bubble of my family's influence, someone who won't demand anything except honesty. The phone rings, Mom's name flashing on the screen. Her voice comes through sharp and cold. "What do you think you're doing? Without your money, this family falls apart. Is that what you want? Your father's health isn't getting any better, and Ethan's about to lose his apartment." She pauses, letting the weight of her words sink in. "If you abandon us now, don't expect to ever be welcomed back." The familiar guilt rises, but something else rises with it. Anger. Hot and clarifying, burning away the fog of manipulation. My fingers move across the keyboard, typing out words I never thought I'd dare to send. "I'm not sending money this month." The response is immediate. Accusations of betrayal, reminders of all they've sacrificed, threats of what my defiance will cost. Each message designed to break my resolve, to force me back into line. My phone buzzes with another message, this time from Michael, Jessica's mentor. "Jessica told me what's happening. Remember, setting boundaries isn't betrayal. Call me if you need backup." But as the texts pour in, I notice my laptop screen blinking with a new email notification. The subject line stops my breath. R.E. Lily's account, next steps. I open it with trembling fingers, and my world shifts again. There, in crisp black and white, is an email chain between my family members, detailing their plans for the coming months. Each crisis scheduled and scripted, each guilt trip carefully crafted to maximize impact. They've been coordinating their attacks, timing their demands to ensure I never have a chance to build my savings or question their motives. The evidence of their calculations sears itself into my mind. This isn't just about money anymore. This is about power, control, the systematic destruction of my independence disguised as family obligation. Mom's contact photo flashes on my phone again, her practiced smile now a grotesque reminder of every lie she's ever told me. But for the first time, I let it ring unanswered, my eyes fixed on the email that changes everything. What hidden truths do you think lie beneath a toxic family's facade? Comment below with your theories. My shoulders tense as Karen's voice cuts through the bustling office, sharp and precise as a surgeon's blade. How dare you ignore my calls? The words slice across the marketing department's open floor plan, drawing curious glances from my colleagues. I grip my coffee mug tighter, willing my hands not to shake. Mom, I'm at work. The words come out steadier than I feel. Behind me, I hear Sarah from accounting pause her typing. Oh, so now you're too important to help your family? Karen's laugh crackles through the speakerphone, the same calculated laugh I heard in that video. What happened to being grateful for everything we've done for you? Heat creeps up my neck as I notice Tom, my supervisor, emerging from his office. His eyebrows rise at the commotion. I fumble to switch off the speaker, but Karen's voice has already achieved its intended effect. The damage is done. Later that evening, at Bellini's restaurant where the families gathered for Uncle Mike's birthday, I slide into a corner booth hoping to stay invisible. But Richard's voice carries across the white tablecloths and wine glasses, loud enough to ensure everyone hears. Some people, he announces to the table of relatives, swirling his third glass of Cabernet, think they're too good for family once they get a fancy office job. His eyes fix on me, lips curling into a smirk. Isn't that right, Lily? The fresh bruise to my reputation stings, but something else rises in my chest, a familiar pressure building like steam in a kettle. I watch him take another self-satisfied sip, and suddenly I'm tired. Tired of being the punching bag. Tired of measuring my worth in dollars withdrawn. I set down my fork, the clatter against fine china drawing attention. Actually, Dad, I think it's more that some people view family as an ATM rather than actual relatives. The words surprise even me with their clarity. Richard chokes mid-sip. Aunt Susan's eyes widen. She knows exactly what I'm referring to. The video she accidentally sent still burns in my phone. A digital smoking gun. That night in my apartment, I stand before the bathroom mirror. The woman staring back looks different somehow, shoulders straighter, jaw set with newfound determination. I think of Karen's performance at my office, of Richard's theatrical dismantling of my character at dinner. Each attempt to shame me has only crystallized something I've been afraid to admit. Their power over me exists only because I've allowed it. My phone buzzes on the counter, another text from Ethan. Hey sis, hate to ask, but I'm in a really tight spot. I let it sit unanswered, focusing instead on my reflection. The constant pressure of their demands has shaped me like water shapes rock, wearing away at my edges until I fit the mold they created. But erosion can be stopped. Damage can be reinforced. I grab my laptop and open a new document. My fingers hover over the keys for a moment before I begin typing. Documentation of financial exploitation. The title stares back at me, both terrifying and liberating. I begin listing every emergency payment, every guilt-laden transfer, every manipulation disguised as family obligation. The numbers add up far too quickly. Years of helping out with mortgages, car payments, and Ethan's endless crises scroll down my screen. Each entry reinforces my resolve. This isn't help anymore. It's systematic exploitation. A new text lights up my phone, Jessica, this time. Coffee tomorrow? Been worried about you. Jessica, who's watched this pattern play out for years. Jessica, who's never asked me for a dime. I text back a quick, yes, something warming in my chest that feels like hope. The next morning, the familiar scent of coffee and pastries at the daily grind wraps around me like a comfortable sweater. Jessica slides into the seat across from me, and I notice Michael, my old mentor from grad school, approaching with 3 steaming mugs. I hope you don't mind, Jessica says. I asked Michael to join us. We're worried, Lil. Michael sets down the coffee and fixes me with the same steady gaze that got me through my thesis anxiety. Your father came by my office yesterday, he says quietly, making some interesting claims about your mental state. The old Lily would have crumbled at this news, but I think of the documentation waiting on my laptop, of Karen's public performance, of Richard's wine-soaked accusations. I wrap my hands around the warm mug, drawing strength from its solidity. They're escalating, I say, surprised by the clinical tone in my voice, because they're losing control. Jessica reaches across the table, squeezing my hand. You don't have to go through this alone. Michael nods, pulling out a business card. I have a friend who specializes in financial abuse cases, just to understand your options. I take the card, its edges sharp and clean against my fingers. In its blank white surface, I see possibilities I've never allowed myself to consider. The pressure in my chest transforms into something else, not quite peace, not quite triumph, but perhaps the first real breath I've taken in years. Just remember, Ethan's voice cuts through the weekend quiet of Thompson Park. Everything our parents did was for you, Lily. The music lessons, the college tours. He gestures broadly to our gathered friends at the community barbecue, his voice carrying across the lawn. While I had to figure everything out myself, I watch the faces of our childhood friends shift uncomfortably. This is classic Ethan turning every gathering into a performance of his victimhood. Tell them about the car they bought you, he continues, voice dripping with mock sweetness, while I had to take the bus. The car they convinced me to co-sign for, I correct quietly. The one I'm still paying off 5 years later. His face reddens. There you go again, twisting everything. You know what your problem is, Lily? You're selfish. You've always been selfish. Something inside me snaps. Years of swallowed responses rise to the surface. Selfish? My voice carries across the stunned silence. Was it selfish when I drained my savings for your business venture? Or when I worked double shifts to cover Mom's mortgage? Each word feels like breaking free from invisible chains. Tell them about the video, Ethan, the one where you all laughed about your little ATM. He pales, mouth opening and closing like a fish. Around us, the murmurs begin. Later that night, I sit cross-legged on my bedroom floor, surrounded by old photo albums. Each smiling family photo now tells a different story. The Christmas I couldn't afford a vacation because of Dad's emergency. The graduation where Mom guilted me into paying for Ethan's student loan payment instead of putting a down payment on a house. My fingers trace the edges of a photo from my first job celebration. I'm beaming at the camera, unaware that my starting bonus would disappear into Karen's credit card debt the very next week. Tears blur my vision, but they feel different now, not tears of hurt, but of release. At my desk, I open my laptop. The documentation I started grows more detailed. Dates, amounts, screenshots of texts. Each piece of evidence transforms from a source of shame into a weapon of truth. I create folders, organize years of financial records, and start recording every interaction. A plan takes shape in my mind, not just escape, but exposure. My hands pause over the keyboard as I open a final folder buried deep in my email archive. Inside, I find what I've been looking for, the original loan documents for the house. The ones with my signature forged in Karen's hasty scrawl, the missing piece that changes everything. I stand before the mirror again, but this time I don't see a victim. I see a woman who's done being the family scapegoat. I will not be manipulated anymore, I declare to my reflection, voice steady and clear. I will not be their ATM. The pressure in my chest transforms into something else, not quite peace, not quite triumph, but perhaps the first real breath I've taken in years. The cursor blinks on my screen, steady as a heartbeat. I've typed and deleted the email subject line 7 times now, but the words finally feel right. Financial record of family support 2020 to 2024. My fingers hover over the keyboard as I review the spreadsheet one last time. Every transaction, every guilt-laden transfer, every emergency payment meticulously documented. The numbers tell their own story, one of systematic exploitation that makes my stomach clench. Send me your bank statements. Michael had advised yesterday, we'll build an ironclad case. My mentor's steady voice echoes in my mind as I copy the data into the email body, each line an indictment. Asterisk January 2020. Emergency roof repair, $8,400. February 2020. Mom's overdue medical bills, $3,200. It's March 2020. Ethan's car trouble, $2,800 asterisk. The list stretches endlessly. 4 years of financial drainage, perfectly cataloged. My hands shake slightly as I add the total at the bottom, $147,632. Nearly my entire life savings gone to feed their endless needs. The phone rings, Mom's ringtone. I silence it without looking, focusing instead on the final paragraph of my email. This will be my last communication regarding financial support. Any further attempts to extract money will be met with legal action. All documentation has been shared with my attorney. I hit send before I can second-guess myself. The whoosh of the sent email feels like a door slamming shut. The response is immediate and explosive. My phone erupts with notifications. Mom's voice trembles in her voicemail. How dare you air our private business like this, after everything we've done for you? I delete it mid-sentence. Dad's message is next, his tone sharp enough to cut. You ungrateful little, delete. A text from Ethan pops up. Way to stab your family in the back. Real classy, sis. I screenshot it for evidence and block his number. The cafe where I meet Jessica for lunch becomes my sanctuary from the digital onslaught. The familiar scent of coffee and pastries grounds me as I slide into our usual corner booth. But peace is short, lived Ethan's voice cuts through the ambient chatter. There's my sister, the family traitor. He's already halfway to our table, cheeks flushed with what I recognize as his performative rage. Everyone, want to hear how she's abandoning her own blood? The cafe falls quiet. My chest tightens as heads turn our way. This is exactly the kind of public scene I've always dreaded, the reason I've given in so many times before. But something has shifted inside me. I meet his gaze steadily. You mean how I'm refusing to be your personal ATM anymore? A couple at the next table snickers. Ethan's face darkens. You've taken everything from us, he spits. Actually, I pull out my phone, opening the spreadsheet. I can show you exactly who took what from whom. Would you like me to share it with everyone here? The color drains from his face. He backs away, nearly stumbling into a waiter's tray. You've changed, he mutters, but the venom in his voice has been replaced by something that sounds almost like fear. Yes, I say simply, I have. Later that evening, in the community hall I've rented for this purpose, I stand before my extended family with a projector remote in my hand. The screen behind me displays the first of many damning pieces of evidence. See screenshots, bank statements, recorded conversations, all meticulously organized. I've called this meeting, my voice carries clearly through the stunned silence, to ensure complete transparency about our family's financial situation. Click. Mom's frantic text messages about fictional emergencies fill the screen. Click. Dad's threatening emails demanding more money. Click. Ethan's manipulative pleas for just one more loan. Aunt Susan's hand flies to her mouth. Uncle Jim stares at his shoes. Cousin Rachel whispers something to her husband that makes him shake his head in disgust. As I continue my presentation, I watch the family's carefully constructed facade crumble. With each new revelation, their web of lies unravels further. The power they've held over me for so long dissolves in the harsh light of truth. My phone buzzes with a notification. Jessica has posted our cafe confrontation online, accompanied by a fierce defense of my actions. Michael's response appears moments later, sharing my documented evidence with his considerable professional network. Other supporters join in, their voices creating a shield wall of solidarity around me. The mighty Karen and Richard, my manipulative parents, sit frozen in their chairs, their usual arsenal of guilt and threats rendered useless by the public exposure. Ethan, my once cocky brother, seems to shrink with each new piece of evidence. I end the presentation with a final screenshot, the video that started it all, where they laughed about exploiting my generosity. The sound of their cruel laughter fills the room, but this time it doesn't wound me. Instead, it feels like the final nail in the coffin of their control. As the crowd disperses, I catch a glimpse of something I never expected. Ethan, alone in the corner, his shoulders slumped as he stares at his phone. For a moment, the arrogant mask slips, revealing something that looks almost like regret. He quickly looks away when he notices me watching. Through the thin walls of the hall, I overhear Aunt Susan's voice, thick with emotion as she speaks into her phone. I can't believe what we've done to her. All these years. She trails off, and I recognize the sound of someone grappling with their own complicity. Back in my apartment, I spread the evidence across my desk: bank statements, screenshots, recorded calls. My laptop screen glows with social media reactions, each supportive comment another brick in the wall between me and my family's manipulation. I open a fresh document and begin typing. Legal action preparation, phase 1. The familiar tension in my shoulders eases as I outline my next steps, each piece of evidence carefully cataloged, each potential legal argument mapped out. This isn't just reaction anymore, it's strategy. My hands steady as I work, the trembling uncertainty of the past replaced by methodical purpose. A notification breaks my concentration. A new email, sender anonymous, subject line cryptic. The final piece of the puzzle is closer than you think. My heart pounds as I read the preview text. Whatever this is, it could change everything again. The legal notice lands in my inbox with the sharp ping of an incoming email. Another one. I've received 15 similar messages in the past hour, each more threatening than the last. My mother's latest reads like a war declaration, peppered with phrases like moral bankruptcy and sacred family duty. My phone buzzes again, Dad this time. His voicemail notification popping up alongside a local news article where he's quoted calling me a daughter who's abandoned her family's values. The irony would be funny if it didn't make my stomach twist. I minimize his message and open my laptop instead. The document I've been preparing glows on the screen. Bank statements, text messages, recorded conversations, a digital paper trail of years of exploitation. Each piece of evidence has been meticulously organized, ready for the press conference I've scheduled for tomorrow. My brother's face appears on the television as I'm reviewing the files. He's standing at a podium, Mom hovering by his side like a puppet master. Family isn't just about blood, Ethan declares, his voice cracking with manufactured emotion. It's about sacrifice, about responsibility. My sister has forgotten that. The words hit their intended mark. Me chest tightens with familiar guilt, but this time, the feeling doesn't take root. Instead, I think of the video that started all this, of their laughter as they called me their walking ATM. The memory straightens my spine. My phone lights up with a message from Sarah, my PR consultant. Community centers booked. Local press confirmed. You ready? My fingers hover over the keyboard for a moment before I type, yes. The next morning, I stand before a packed room. Cameras click and whir as I step up to the podium, my USB drive containing the evidence feeling heavy in my hand. The weight of what I'm about to do settles on my shoulders, but it doesn't crush me. Not anymore. For years, I begin, my voice steady despite my racing heart. I believed that family meant sacrificing everything, your savings, your dreams, your self-worth. Today, I'm going to show you what that sacrifice really looked like. The first bank statement appears on the screen behind me. Mom's urgent text about the mortgage payment she couldn't make, the one I later discovered she'd spent on a luxury cruise. Dad's threatening email about showing up at my workplace if I didn't help with Ethan's emergency car repairs, the same car he sold a week later for profit. Murmurs ripple through the crowd as each piece of evidence builds upon the last. The room grows tense with collective shock as the full scope of their manipulation unfolds on the screen. I keep my voice level, letting the facts speak for themselves. The video clip of my family's laughter plays last. The sound echoes through the silent room, their cruel words about their little ATM landing with devastating clarity. When the screen goes dark, the silence holds for one breath. 2, before erupting into a storm of camera flashes and shouted questions. My phone explodes with notifications as the story hits social media. Within hours, the video goes viral, my family's carefully crafted image crumbling under the weight of their exposed lies. Local news stations pick up the story, their coverage spreading like wildfire across national networks. A week later, I stand before another audience, this time at a community forum on financial abuse. Mom, Dad, and Ethan sit in the front row, their lawyers flanking them like guards. They're here to attempt damage control, but their usual tactics feel hollow under the harsh fluorescent lights and dozens of watchful eyes. You've heard my family's version of events, I say into the microphone, my voice carrying to every corner of the room. About duty, about obligation, about the daughter who betrayed their trust. I pause, meeting each of their eyes in turn. But obligation isn't love, duty isn't family, and exposing abuse isn't betrayal. The applause starts slowly, then builds into a wave that drowns out my parents' attempts to interrupt. I watch their faces as their last grip on control slips away, replaced by the dawning realization that their power was always built on sand. The final battle takes place in a courtroom 3 days later. My lawyer presents our dossier to a panel of judges, the evidence even more damning under the stark courtroom lights. Mom and Dad sit rigid in their chairs as the judge reviews years of financial manipulation, their faces growing paler with each documented instance of exploitation. When the judge speaks, her voice rings with certainty. The court finds clear evidence of systematic financial exploitation. She looks directly at my family. All claims on Miss Anderson's financial support are hereby nullified. The words echo through the courtroom, and for the first time in years, I feel truly free. The gallery erupts in supportive murmurs as my family's lawyers shuffle their papers, desperately searching for grounds to appeal. But we all know it's over. As I leave the courthouse, reporters thrust microphones toward me, asking how it feels to win, but my attention is caught by something else. My phone screen lighting up with a notification. An encrypted message from an unknown number. The final chapter is yet to be written. I tuck the phone away, feeling the weight of unfinished business settle alongside my victory. The truth has been told, justice has been served, but something tells me this story isn't over yet. Have you ever wondered if true revenge brings freedom or if it just creates new battles to fight? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Morning light streams through floor-to-ceiling windows, casting long shadows across my newly renovated downtown Seattle apartment. The space feels different now, lighter somehow, as if the fresh paint and rearranged furniture have scrubbed away the lingering darkness of the past year. I arrange a silver frame on my desk, smiling at the photo of Jessica and me at last month's charity run. Next to it, I place the certificate from my self-empowerment workshop and a handwritten note from Michael that simply reads, "You've got this." Such simple words, but they mean everything now. My laptop screen glows with my updated 5-year plan. The goals I've set feel ambitious but achievable, expanding my marketing consultancy, leading workshops for others, breaking free from financial abuse, maybe even writing a book someday. Each milestone represents another step away from the person I used to be, the family ATM, the perpetual caregiver, the woman who measured her worth in sacrifices. The local cafe where I now sit with Jessica bears little resemblance to the place where I once huddled in corners, answering Karen's frantic calls about imaginary emergencies. The afternoon sun warms the wooden table between us as Jessica describes her latest project challenges. The client keeps moving the deadline, she says, frustration evident in her voice. I take a thoughtful sip of my tea, considering her words. Have you discussed implementing a change order process? It could help manage scope creep. The confidence in my voice surprises me, not because the advice isn't sound, but because I remember a time when I wouldn't have trusted my own judgment enough to offer it. The community center's meeting room feels intimate with its warm lighting and circle of chairs. 10 faces turn toward me as I share my story, each person carrying their own burden of toxic family dynamics. My voice remains steady as I describe the video that changed everything, the subsequent battles, and the freedom I found in finally saying, no. Recovery isn't linear, I explain, catching Michael's encouraging nod from the doorway. Some days you'll want to give in, to believe their promises of change. But healing begins when you realize that protecting yourself isn't selfish, it's necessary. The rain creates a gentle backdrop as I notice Hera woman standing outside the library, shoulders hunched, phone clutched in trembling hands. I recognize that posture, that look of desperate resignation. I'd worn it myself countless times. Are you okay? I ask softly, approaching with careful steps. Her name is Maria, and her story tumbles out between sobs, a familiar tale of family members who view love as a transaction, of guilt used as currency, of dreams postponed for others' emergencies. We find shelter under a nearby park pavilion, and I share my own journey, watching hope slowly replace despair in her eyes. The first step, I tell her, is believing you deserve better. Dawn breaks over Puget Sound, painting the water in shades of gold and promise. From my balcony, I watch seabirds wheel against the brightening sky, their freedom a reflection of my own. A text notification breaks the morning silence, Ethan, probably with another crisis, another demand. I don't open it. Instead, I think about the woman I've become, the one who helps others find their voice, who knows her worth isn't measured in dollars given or sacrifices made. The one who finally understands that real love doesn't demand your self-destruction. The community art exhibit pulses with energy as I weave through the crowd, each piece telling its own story of resilience and renewal. A striking phoenix rises from scattered chains, its wings spread wide against a backdrop of breaking dawn. The artist Sarah catches my eye and smiles. "Your story inspired this piece," she says, extending her hand. I join a small group gathered near a multimedia installation, exchanging stories and contact information. A photographer named Alex shares his vision for documenting survivors' journeys. A counselor, Diana, discusses starting a workshop series for financial empowerment. Each conversation opens new doors, new possibilities. My phone fills with new connections, mail addresses, social media handles, tentative lunch dates. These aren't just networking contacts. They're the foundation of something deeper. Authentic friendships built on mutual understanding and respect, not obligation and guilt. The future stretches before me, vast and unmarked, a blank canvas waiting to be filled with genuine relationships, personal growth, and dreams that belong solely to me. For the first time in my life, I'm not afraid of what tomorrow might bring. I am enough, exactly as I am. What does freedom mean to you? Share your vision of a fresh start in the comments below.
I step into my apartment, the cool evening air a welcome relief from the stifling atmosphere at Hamilton Financial. My heels click against the hardwood floors as I make my way to the kitchen, already dreaming of a glass of wine, and take out after the grueling board meeting. That's when I hear them voices drifting from my living room, casual and animated, as if they have every right to be there. My hand freezes on the light switch. My sister Olivia's distinctive laugh rings out, followed by Rachel's eager voice chiming in about some resort. Mom's there too, her tone warm and excited in a way I haven't heard in months. I round the corner, my designer bags still clutched in one hand, and find them sprawled across my leather sectional like it's their personal planning committee. Glossy travel brochures litter my coffee table, and Rachel's laptop screen displays what looks like a luxury resort website. "Val!" Mom brightens when she sees me, but there's something off in her smile. "We were just discussing the plans for my 65th. "Plans?" I set down my bag, a knot forming in my stomach. "What plans?" Olivia leans forward, her perfectly manicured hands gesturing animatedly. "We found the most amazing resort in Cabo. 8 days of pure luxury spa treatments, private beach access, sunset cruises. Mom's gonna love it." My mind floods with memories, each one striking like a physical blow. Last summer's solo trip to Europe, canceled because Rachel needed help with her divorce lawyer's retainer. The director position I turned down because it would mean less flexibility for family emergencies. Christmas after Christmas of covering shared family gifts while my sisters contributed token amounts. The pattern is so clear, now every sacrifice demanded and accepted without question. "You have to come to dinner tonight," Mom says, gathering her purse. "We need to discuss all the arrangements. Eleanor's making her famous pot roast." 2 hours later, I sit at my mother's ornate dining table, surrounded by the familiar trappings of family gatherings. Crystal glasses catch the light from the chandelier, and photographs line the walls carefully curated moments of family history. The smell of pot roast fills the air, but my stomach is too tight to eat. "So it's settled then," Eleanor announces, passing the green beans. "We'll drop off the kids that Friday morning. I've written down all their scheduled soccer practice for the twins, Emma's dance class, and Charlie's allergies, of course." The crystal glass nearly slips from my hand. "What kids?" "The children, dear." Mom dabs her lips with a napkin. "All 6 of them. You'll be watching them while we're at the resort." The room seems to tilt on its axis. "You're planning to leave me with 6 children under the age of 8? For 8 days? Well, you're so good with them," Rachel chimes in. "And it's not like you have any other commitments." "Not like you have any other commitments." The words echo in my head, each repetition stripping away another layer of denial about my place in this family. Every holiday spent cooking while they relaxed. Every financial emergency I've solved. Every time they've assumed my time was theirs to command. Have you even considered inviting me on this trip? The words come out barely above a whisper. Olivia laughs, the sound brittle. Val, be realistic. Someone needs to watch the kids. I sit there, paralyzed, as the conversation flows around me. The chandelier light suddenly feels harsh, the family photos on the walls more like an indictment than a celebration. My eyes move from face to face, Mom's practiced indifference, Olivia's casual dismissal, Rachel's eager compliance searching for any sign that they understand what they're doing. Any flicker of empathy or recognition. There is none. My hands rest on the white tablecloth, trembling slightly. Years of choices stretch behind me, and an impossible decision looms ahead. Do I swallow this betrayal like all the others? Or do I finally say enough? The answer feels just out of reach as I sit frozen in my chair, the happy chatter of dinner plans washing over me like acid. In this moment of paralysis, one thought cuts through the chaos with perfect clarity. Whatever I decide next will change everything. I sit at my desk, methodically sorting through financial records downloaded from Hamilton Financial's secure portal. The screen's blue light casts harsh shadows across my modern apartment as evening settles in. My fingers tremble slightly as I cross-reference each digital entry with the stack of printed emails and texts I've been secretly collecting. The truth emerges in cold, hard numbers. $4,500, my supposed contribution to Mom's celebration, scattered across a web of transactions. Restaurant charges at places I've never been, home repairs I never approved. And there, buried in the details, payments for the luxury resort that I'm apparently not good enough to visit. My throat tightens as I make precise notes in the margins, building my case. Annotation feels like another crack in the foundation of what I thought was familial love. The evidence doesn't lie. They've been using me as their personal ATM for years. My phone buzzes. A text from Olivia. Don't forget to check the kids' allergy lists before next month. Tet. I close my eyes, letting the weight of manipulation settle over me. The casual presumption that I'll fall in line, watch their children, fund their escapes. It's all there in black and white. The next morning, I arranged to meet my sisters at the Brood Awakening. The coffee shop's warm lighting and gentle buzz of conversation feel at odds with the storm brewing inside me. Olivia arrives first, perfectly coiffed in designer wear that I suspect I helped finance. Rachel trails behind, already wearing her signature look of concerned disapproval. We need to talk about the resort trip, I say as they settle into their seats. My voice sounds steadier than I feel. Olivia's smile freezes. What about it? I pull out the first printed email, sliding it across the table. Maybe we should start with how my contribution was actually spent. Oh, Val, not this again. Rachel leans forward, her wedding ring catching the light. You're single. You don't understand how expensive it is having kids. Family has to help family. Family, the word tastes bitter. I spread out more documents, each one a testament to years of exploitation. Is that what you call using my money for spa days and home renovations without my knowledge? Olivia's perfectly manicured fingers drum against the table. You're being dramatic. Everyone knows you're the responsible one, the successful one. It's not our fault you chose career over family. Chose? My laugh sounds hollow. Like I chose to cancel my Europe trip last summer to cover your divorce lawyer, Rachel. Or chose to turn down the director position because Mom needed someone flexible for emergencies. That's different, Olivia snaps, her composure cracking. You're acting like we owe you something. You do. My voice carries an edge I've never heard before. You owe me respect, consideration, the basic courtesy of asking before you spend my money or volunteer my time. Rachel's eyes narrow. Just because you're alone doesn't mean... I'm not alone. The realization hits me as I say it. I'm just not your resource anymore. Olivia stands abruptly, her chair scraping against the floor. If you're going to be difficult about this, maybe you should skip dinner on Sunday. Give yourself time to think about your priorities. I gather my evidence, tucking each paper away with deliberate care. My priorities are perfectly clear, for the first time in years. They leave in a flutter of self-righteous indignation, but I remain at the table, hands wrapped around my cooling coffee. The cafe continues its gentle hum of activity around me, oblivious to the seismic shift that just occurred. For the first time, I've challenged the narrative they've written for me, the script they've expected me to follow without question. My phone lights up with a message from Marcus Reed, my colleague at Hamilton Financial. Noticed some unusual patterns in those transactions you asked me to review. Got a minute to talk? I text back a quick confirmation, feeling the first spark of validation. I'm not imagining things. The exploitation is real, documented, and about to meet its match. The afternoon sun casts long shadows across Crescent Grove Park as I settle onto my favorite bench beneath the sprawling oak tree. This spot has always been my refuge, a place where the gentle rustle of leaves drowns out the doubts that plague me after every family confrontation. My phone rings. Marcus. I've been reviewing those transactions, he says without preamble. His voice carries the measured tone I've come to associate with his most careful analyses. There's a pattern here that goes beyond casual financial oversight. 20 minutes later, I'm sliding into a booth at the Urban Nook, spreading my documentation across the worn wooden table. Marcus sits opposite me, his typically pristine suit jacket draped over the chair, sleeves rolled up as he pores over my evidence. Look at these timestamps. He points to a series of entries. The contributions weren't just misused, they were systematically diverted through multiple accounts. I've seen similar patterns with clients who've experienced financial exploitation. The word hits like a physical blow, exploitation. I've been dancing around it, cushioning it with softer terms like misunderstanding or family dynamics. But Marcus's clinical assessment strips away the pretense. Back home, I sit cross-legged on my couch, a leather-bound journal open in my lap. Each entry documents another sacrifice. The promotion I declined because mom needed weekly help with housework. The savings I depleted covering Eleanor's mortgage payment. Christmas after Christmas of maxed out credit cards because sharing is caring. My chest aches with a familiar tightness as I trace the words with my fingertip. The meticulous record-keeping that I once used to prove my devotion now reads like a ledger of betrayal. Even my closest friends have grown distant, worn down by years of canceled plans and last-minute family emergencies. The silence of my apartment presses in, broken only by the soft tick of the designer clock, another shared expense I somehow ended up covering alone. My reflection in the darkened window looks different somehow. Tired, yes, but also resolute. The woman who documented every sacrifice is finally ready to acknowledge their cost. I return to my home office late that evening, rain pattering against the windows. The vintage desk lamp casts a warm circle of light as I spread out my evidence one final time. Something about Olivia's latest email thread catches my eye. A phrase about additional fund allocation that seems oddly formal for my usually casual sister. My hands steady as I begin to decrypt the careful language, cross-referencing dates and amounts. The pattern emerges slowly at first, then with stunning clarity. This isn't just about babysitting duties or vacation expenses. The emails reveal a calculated scheme to maintain control over family assets, with my resources as the primary target. I save the document, then print a copy with trembling fingers. The evidence feels heavy in my hands, heavier than paper should be. Perhaps because it carries the weight of revelation, this betrayal runs deeper than I ever imagined, and nothing will ever be the same. My phone buzzes against the glass desk for the 100th time this morning. Rain pelts the windows of my corner office at Hamilton Financial, matching the storm brewing in my inbox. Olivia's latest Facebook post glares up at me from the screen. Some people forget everything that's been done for them. When you've sacrificed everything for your family, only to be betrayed. Number toxic people, number ungrateful. The timestamp reads 9:03 a.m. She's been at this for hours already, each notification a fresh wound. I scroll through the comments, my throat tightening as distant relatives and family friends pile on with their accusations. Aunt Margaret, who I haven't seen since Christmas 3 years ago, has written a paragraph about family loyalty. Uncle Steve, who needed a loan last summer for his new boat, calls me selfish. A new message pops up in the family group chat Forever Family. Rachel this time sharing screenshots of emails I sent last year when I couldn't make it to her son's birthday party. I was in London closing $1 million deal for the firm. The deal that helped pay for her divorce lawyer 2 months later. Remember this? She writes. Always too busy for family. Now we know where Val's priorities really lie. My hands tremble as I set the phone face down. The polished surface of my desk reflects a woman I barely recognize, hair perfectly styled, designer blazer immaculate, eyes haunted. The morning light catching on my silver pendant seems to mock the chaos erupting across my social media accounts. A text from my mother, Eleanor is devastated. How could you do this to the children? The glass of water by my keyboard ripples with each shaky breath I take. Inside my chest, something that's been bending for years finally threatens to snap. I pick up my phone again, open my voicemail. 3 new messages. Val, it's Jessica. My cousin's voice drips with manufactured concern. I just can't believe what I'm hearing. After everything your sisters have done for you. Delete. Valerie Marie Thompson, you call me back this instant. Delete. Hey, it's Marcus. The familiar voice of my colleague cuts through the noise. Saw the posts. Let's grab coffee. You shouldn't be alone right now. My finger hovers over the delete button, then drops. Through the rain-streaked windows, I watch the city pulse with morning traffic. Each car represents someone moving forward, someone choosing their own direction. The thought hits me with startling clarity. I've spent so long being the family rock that I've forgotten how to move at all. A new notification lights up my screen. Olivia again, this time sharing photos from last Thanksgiving. There I am in the background, cooking while everyone else poses for pictures. Carrying dishes while they open presents. Always in motion, always in service, never really seen. The trembling in my hand stills. I close my eyes, draw in a breath that feels like the first one I've taken in years. The rain drums against the windows, a steady rhythm that drowns out the chaos of notifications. In this moment of quiet, something shifts inside me, a fault line finally giving way, revealing bedrock I didn't know I had. My phone rings, startling me. Benjamin Carter's name flashes on the screen. My old mentor, retired now, someone I haven't spoken to in months. I answer before I can think better of it. Valerie. His voice carries the same steady authority I remember from my early days at the firm. I saw what's happening. Are you all right? I'm fine, I say automatically, then catch myself. Actually, no, I'm not. Good. The word surprises me. That's the first honest thing you've said to anyone in years, isn't it? The truth of it hits like a physical blow. I sink into my chair, clutching the phone tighter. Listen carefully, Benjamin continues. I've watched you build your career on precision and integrity. You analyze million-dollar deals without flinching. Yet you let your family treat your life like a resource to be mined. Why? They're family, I whisper, but the words sound hollow even to me. Number. His voice carries the weight of experience. They're people who've learned that your strength is profitable to them. There's a difference. Something breaks loose in my chest knot, the snap I feared earlier, but a release, like a knot finally coming undone. What do? You do what you've always done best, Valerie. You strategize, you plan, and then you act with the same precision you bring to every other aspect of your life. I'm already reaching for a pen, muscle memory from countless meetings with him kicking in. I need to meet Marcus, I say. I need to start gathering evidence. Now that sounds like the Valerie I mentored. Pride colors his voice. Remember, your compassion isn't weakness, but it's time to extend some of that compassion to yourself. The Urban Nook's warmth wraps around me like a blanket as I push through the door 30 minutes later. Marcus waves from our usual corner booth, 2 steam already waiting. The coffee shop's familiar scent of roasted beans and pastries grounds me as I slide into the seat across from him. I ordered your usual, he says, pushing a mug toward me, though I'm thinking this conversation might need something stronger than a cappuccino. I wrap my hands around the warm ceramic, letting it chase away the last of the morning's chill. I need your help, Marcus. Already on it. He pulls out his tablet, turning it to show me a carefully organized folder structure. I've been documenting every post, every comment. And I've got contacts in legal who specialize in cases of financial exploitation. Whatever you need, Val, you're not alone in this. The lump in my throat makes it hard to speak. I take a sip of coffee instead, using the moment to compose myself. I need to build a case, I say finally, not for legal action, not yet, but I need to understand exactly what's been happening. All of it. Marcus nods, already typing. Start at the beginning. Every financial transaction, every emotional manipulation. We'll map it all out. Later that night, I sit in my study, surrounded by the evidence of years of systematic exploitation. My laptop screen glows with folder after folder of screenshots, financial records, text messages, each one a small betrayal, now organized into a damning pattern. The rain has stopped, leaving the city windows streaked with trails that catch the light from nearby buildings. I've been at this for hours, methodically building a case that would make any of our firm's auditors proud. Every sacrifice, Every manipulation, every moment I said yes when I should have said no of it, documented and dated. A new email notification breaks my concentration. From Olivia, sent to an address I don't recognize. My cursor hovers over the forward icon. She must have included me by mistake. The subject line reads, Special Fund Allocation. I open it. My breath catches as I read, then read again. The coded language is subtle, but after 15 years in finance, I know exactly what I'm looking at. A secret account, multiple transactions, a pattern of financial maneuvering that explains so much about the past few years. My hands are steady as I hit print. The evidence I've gathered tonight is a foundation, but this email, this is the key that will unlock everything. I stand, walk to my window. The city sparkles below, 1,000 lights reflecting off rain-slick streets. Somewhere out there, my family is probably still posting, still plotting, still certain of their control. They have no idea what's coming. The polished interface of Pacific Paradigm Travels fills my laptop screen, their exclusive resort collection a sharp contrast to the oppressive silence of my apartment. My fingers hover over the confirmation button as I review the details one final time. The Royal Hawaiian Hotel, Waikiki Beach, oceanfront suite with private balcony. 8 days of freedom wrapped in luxury, the exact same length as their precious family vacation. I document every transaction meticulously. Flight reservations, hotel confirmation, even the private car service from the airport. Each receipt gets immediately filed into an encrypted folder, building my arsenal of evidence one PDF at a time. The satisfaction settles deep in my chest as I compose 2 separate encrypted emails. Marcus's response arrives first. All systems go. Ready when you are. Asterisk. Benjamin's follows moments later. Op-ed drafted. Just waiting for your signal. Asterisk. My phone buzzes again the 7th time in an hour. Olivia's name flashes across the screen, but I let it go to voicemail. Instead, I open the family group chat she's dubbed Forever Family and watch the messages pour in like digital venom. Valerie, this is completely unacceptable. You can't just disappear when the family needs you. Asterisk. Mom is devastated. How could you be so selfish? Asterisk. Rachel's contribution comes next. A poorly edited photo of me from last Christmas, annotated with snide comments about family loyalty. The image spreads across our extended family's social media like a virus, accompanied by increasingly hostile speculation about my character. She follows it with a barrage of doctored images, each one designed to paint me as the ungrateful sister, the family traitor. My hands don't shake as I document each post, each comment. Let them show their true colors. Have you seen what they're posting? Marcus's voice crackles through my AirPods. It's getting ugly out there. I've seen it. I minimize the family chat and pull up the counter campaign we've prepared. Are you ready? Everyone's in position. Benjamin's op-ed drops in the Metro Times tonight, and I've got screenshots of every manipulative text they've sent you for the past year. Just say the word. I think of the carefully cultivated image my sisters have built, the perfect daughters, the devoted mothers, the pillars of our community. Do it. The response is immediate and overwhelming. Numbers stand with Valerie trends locally within hours as Marcus releases his timeline of evidence. Benjamin's piece cuts through their carefully constructed narrative like a scalpel, exposing the years of financial and emotional exploitation. Comments pour in from colleagues, community leaders, even family friends who've witnessed their behavior firsthand. My cousin Jonathan's message catches me off guard. I had no idea it was this bad, Val. The way they treated you. I'm so sorry, asterisk. The family video call that evening is a masterclass in disintegration. Aunt Margaret's pinched expression fills my screen as she demands explanations. Olivia, these messages they're sharing, did you really expect Valerie to pay for everyone's Christmas gifts last year? You don't understand. Olivia snaps, her voice trembling with barely contained panic. A glimpse of Rachel appears in another window, her face flushed with anger. Need what? Rachel cuts in, her voice sharp with fear. Shut up, Olivia. The video glitches, freezing on their expressions of mounting horror as their united front crumbles in real time. Years of careful manipulation unravel in minutes. Through it all, I sit in silence, letting their own words do the work for me. Later that night, thunder rolls outside my window as I sort through my digital archives in my private study. The email from Olivia catches my eye, one I'd nearly forgotten about from 6 months ago. My breath catches as I read it again, seeing the detailed instructions for manipulating family funds with new clarity. My hands tremble slightly as I hit print. The pages emerge warm from the printer, each one more damning than the last. I create a new digital folder labeled Final Evidence and secure the physical copies in my safe. Every calculation, every scheme, every manipulation laid bare in black and white. The thunder crashes again as I prepare my public statement, detailing the full extent of their betrayal. My phone lights up with a text from Marcus' live stream scheduled for tomorrow. Are you ready to end this? Asterisk. I look around my quiet apartment, thinking of the oceanfront suite waiting for me in Hawaii, of the freedom that's finally within reach. Lightning splits the sky, and this time it feels like applause. Ready, asterisk? I text back. Time to finish what they started. Asterisk. I close my laptop and walk to the window, watching the storm rage outside. Tomorrow, I'll deliver the final blow of evidence that will shatter their facade. But tonight, I savor the calm before my own storm, knowing that for the first time in years, I'm the one holding all the power. The Royal Hawaiian confirmation email chimes on my phone. 8 days of peace waiting on the other side of tomorrow's war. I smile, thinking of my sisters scrambling to contain a situation that's already far beyond their control. Let them try to spin this. Some things just can't be manipulated back into place. I stare at my phone screen, watching the notifications flood in. Olivia's latest attack unfolds in real time, a carefully crafted legal notice from Preston and Associates threatening action over breach of familial financial agreements. The timestamp reads 10:03 a.m., right on schedule. Rachel's social media barrage follows 3 minutes later. My sister's performative grief spreads across Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter like a choreographed dance. Family means supporting each other, she writes beneath a strategically edited video clip of last Christmas. The footage conveniently cuts before I handed her a check for her divorce lawyer. The Forever Family group chat erupts with a symphony of message alerts. I watch the manipulation unfold with clinical detachment, noting how Olivia's carefully worded email to the extended family lands in my inbox at precisely 10:15 a.m. The subject line reads, "Urgent, concerning Valerie's recent actions." My home office feels different today. The sleek ergonomic chair that usually cradles me through long work days now serves as my command center. The wall of windows behind me offers a panoramic view of downtown, but my focus remains fixed on the 3 monitors before me. Marcus Reed's message pops up in my private chat. Everything's in place. Benjamin's got the financial records ready. I check my watch, 2:45 p.m. In 15 minutes, the Atrium Conference Center's modern glass facade will welcome hundreds of media representatives and community members. My throat tightens, but my hands remain steady as I gather the dossier of every manipulative text. Every coerced financial contribution, every twisted family narrative meticulously documented and cross-referenced. The drive downtown passes in a blur of steel and glass buildings. When I step into the conference center's lobby, the familiar click of my heels against marble grounds me. The sound echoes differently, now no longer the footsteps of someone rushing to solve another family crisis, but the measured stride of someone about to reclaim their power. Ready? Benjamin asks, appearing at my elbow with the presentation drive. I nod, my fingers brushing against the small silver pendant at my neck, a habit I've carried since childhood. But today, it's not a nervous gesture. It's a reminder of every moment that led to this one. The conference room buzzes with anticipation. Camera shutters click rapidly as I take my place at the podium, the weight of the dossier solid and reassuring in my hands. The projector hums to life, and the first screenshot appears on the massive screen behind me, Olivia's threatening email from this morning, timestamp intact. Good afternoon, I begin, my voice carrying clearly through the room. Today, I'm here to tell you a story about family, about power, and about truth. The presentation unfolds like a precisely executed chess game. Each piece of evidence lands with devastating impact. Rachel's manipulated social media posts juxtaposed against reality. Financial records revealing years of systematic exploitation. The group chat messages that show the calculated nature of their emotional warfare. The audience reaction shifts from professional interest to stunned silence as the pattern emerges. In the third row, I spot my mother's closest friend, her hand pressed against her mouth. 2 local news anchors scribble furiously in their notebooks. A business reporter I recognize from the Hamilton Financial Press Circuit is already typing on his laptop. This morning, I continue, pulling up the legal notice. My sister attempted to threaten me with legal action. Let's examine exactly what these familial financial agreements entail. The next hour passes in a blur of revelations. Each disclosed document, each played recording, each financial transaction projected on the screen serves as another nail in the coffin of their manipulation. The narrative they've carefully constructed over years crumbles in real time, and I stand in the aftermath, finally able to breathe. When I finish speaking, the room erupts in questions. Reporters call out for clarification, details, reactions, but I'm already gathering my materials, my part in this performance complete. The evidence will speak for itself now. In the elevator down to the parking garage, I check my phone one last time. The Forever Family chat has fallen silent. My email inbox shows 3 urgent messages from Olivia's law firm, not Preston and Associates this time, but her actual employer. Rachel's social media accounts have gone dark. The next week passes in a whirlwind of legal proceedings. Samantha Brooks, my attorney, systematically dismantles their defenses in court. The financial records Benjamin provided become front-page news. Local business leaders, who once smiled politely at my family's galas, now publicly denounce their actions. The bank has frozen several accounts pending investigation. They're scrambling. Samantha tells me over coffee, sliding another stack of documents across the table. 3 board members have already reached out to distance themselves from your sister's firm. The final confrontation happens at Willow Grove Estate, where it all began. The grand house looms against the darkening sky as I pull into the circular driveway. Inside, the familiar crystal chandelier casts shadows across concerned Facis extended family, board members, community leaders who've known us since childhood. Olivia and Rachel stand near the fireplace, their usual confidence replaced by something harder, more desperate. Mom sits in her favorite armchair, looking smaller than I remember. "You've destroyed this family," Olivia says, but her voice wavers. I meet her gaze steadily. "Number, I've exposed what was destroying it all along." The room falls silent as I methodically address each person, each betrayal, each manipulation. Years of financial records spread across the antique coffee table. Aunt Eleanor gasps at the sight of her own signature on a document she never fully read. Uncle James stares at the floor. "This ends now," I say, my voice carrying to every corner of the room. The exploitation, the guilt, the endless demands of it. Later, I stand alone on the veranda, watching storm clouds gather above the manicured gardens. The sealed envelope in my hand contains one final piece of evidence proof of financial misappropriations that would shatter what remains of our family's facade. Thunder rumbles in the distance as I trace the envelope's edge with my finger. Behind me, the murmur of voices continues, a Greek chorus of shock, regret, and whispered revelations. But out here, in the gathering storm, I stand at a crossroads. The question isn't whether they'll ever understand what they've done. The question is whether understanding would change anything at all. The ocean breeze caresses my skin as I step onto Waikiki's pristine shore, my bare feet sinking into sand that feels like crushed velvet. Dawn paints the sky in watercolor strokes of pink and gold, and the rhythmic crash of waves drowns out the last echoes of my family's manipulative voices. This moment, this perfect, peaceful moment, belongs to me alone. I adjust my sun hat and settle onto my beach blanket, watching early morning surfers carve through waves that glitter like cut crystal. 3 weeks into my Hawaiian escape, and I still can't quite believe I'm here. The weight that you press against my chest has lifted, replaced by something lighter, freer. The morning stretches before me like an unopened gift. In 2 hours, I'll head to the Aloha Clay Studio, where James, my instructor, is teaching me to shape clay into delicate vessels that seem to capture light itself. My latest piso bowl with waves etched into its rim sits in the kiln, waiting to emerge transformed. Like me. My phone buzzes. Marcus Reed, my travel consultant, has sent the final itinerary for my upcoming European adventure. Paris in June, then a meandering path through Tuscany's sun-drenched hills. No family emergencies to derail these plans. No guilt-laden phone calls demanding my presence, my money, my soul. The sun climbs higher, and I gather my things, heading back along the shore. A young woman struggles with her beach umbrella, and I pause to help her anchor it in the sand. Her grateful smile triggers a memory. Me at her age, always rushing to solve everyone else's problems, measuring my worth in sacrifices made. I want to tell her what took me years to learn, that kindness shouldn't require self-erasure. Instead, I wish her a beautiful morning and continue my walk, my steps light against the dampened sand. Back in my hotel room, I catch my reflection in the mirror and pause. Gone is the tense set of my shoulders, the worried crease between my brows. The woman who stares back at me stands straighter, her gaze clear and unflinching. I think of that paralyzing moment at Mom's dinner table, when the weight of their expectations nearly crushed me. Now their demands feel as insubstantial as seafoam. The afternoon sun floods my balcony as I settle in with my laptop to review the latest financial reports from Hamilton. Benjamin Carter's email sits in my inbox note celebrating my team's successful quarter. No manipulation hiding between the lines, no subtle dig about family obligation, just straightforward appreciation for work well done. My phone chimes with a text from Rachel. I notice my hands don't shake anymore when I see her name. I delete the message unread, a simple act that once would have sparked days of anxiety. Now it feels as natural as breathing. Evening finds me at the Urban Nook, a cozy bistro where warm lighting turns everything golden. Marcus raises his glass in a toast, his eyes crinkling with genuine warmth. To new beginnings, he says, and our small group allies who stood by me through the storm echoes the sentiment. Benjamin shares a story about his own family breakthrough, and Lisa describes her latest art exhibition. Their laughter and support wrap around me like a familiar blanket, proof that family isn't defined by blood, but by choice. Later, in my hotel suite, I approach the antique key displayed in its handcrafted glass case. Mother's gift, once a chain disguised as trust, now transformed into a symbol of my liberation. I run my finger along its intricate pattern, remembering how it used to burn in my pocket like a brand of obligation. Tonight, it's just a key. Beautiful, perhaps, but powerless to lock me into anyone else's expectations. The evening air draws me to my balcony. Below, tourists stroll along Kalakaua Avenue, their voices carrying up on the breeze. The sun dips toward the horizon, painting the sky in brilliant oranges and purples that seem to set the whole world ablaze. I lean against the railing, letting the peace of the moment wash over me. This is freedom, not the absence of responsibility, but the power to choose which burdens to carry. This is evolution, not the severing of all bonds, but the strength to forge connections that nurture rather than drain. As the last light fades from the sky, I smile, knowing tomorrow brings another day of choices that are entirely my own.